DLC mix. You are going to be trying your damn best to use aim and accuracy. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the C stream. And it, of course, Fantasy taking on Illuminar. It's Dust2, our first map. It's Fantasy's pick. It's Fantasy chance. And is it going to be a fantasy world that we live in, or will Illuminar be able to punish them? Let's find out as we jump into the pistol. Of course, they start on the T side, having it being their map pick. Illuminar, they want the CT side. 4 lots of Kevlar, 1 kit, double flashbang on Topa, the one and only. For Fantasy, it's fast, it's pacey, and it is electric towards middle. Flashbang goes forward. Tudson looking to take that control. EXUS is whittling away from it, though, in upper tunnels.
Hang on. Yeah, it's great. A lot of information. They know they're going towards A here. I mean, they literally have to. They've got 2 decisions. Pop through double doors, which is the biggest risk of all, or play for a short default. They know they've made their way round in through lower tunnels and are wrapping towards short. There's a hold here stacked over towards the long side. I mean, this is really comfortable. Wrapping back, though, that gets a little bit risky. Reeds has to fall away. Can't take face here.
EXUS behind. Reeds is just going to try and delay as best as he can. Out towards middle. Toa thinking about swinging. And he will get his way in now. Taps away at a first, a second, a third. But it's Rilax, in fact, to take it away. Tudson's got another. And the bomb just about wriggles out towards the B site. Great flank from Rilax. He's able to collect a second. He's got 1 player ahead of him and 1 player behind. Bro's able to bail him out of that initial engagement. And it's masked against 3 to try and put Illuminar on the board.
Flash will catch. Turning away from it. Tudson will see things out. It's Fantasy to kickstart things. A first round on the board for them on their map pick is a brilliant start. And a sort of necessity as well. You kind of look towards Fantasy. They're a side who are just so momentum heavy. We've seen in kind of their previous games. Granted, again, tough due to kind of seeding issues and things of the sort, right? But, you know, for Fantasy, when they bring their best work, when they bring their kind of their best performances, and we saw kind of moments of that, especially against Sangal. What was great for them was how good they were when momentum was massively in their favor. The snowball effect was in play. And now that they've got a bit of money to work with, we can see that happen once further. Topa out towards long, over towards blue crate already, but they want to take face, Illuminar. They want to try and pug this.
Taking the fights to them. Illuminar want to get their hands dirty in this round, and to kick things off, Topa going to find EXUS. So Fantasy starting things right. Great shot with the Galil onto the follow-up as well. Got to be careful for that scout. 5-7. Morels in pit. Trying to create a bit of a nuisance. Masked in for support. And actually, okay. It's 3 kills each way, though. Bro's able to bail out the one and only. And the scout of Mask finding another. It's Relax against 2. The Galil that can't find anything more. And it's an equalizer from Illuminar. They take the fights to long. Fantasy don't get it done early on. And then it is indeed the start to punish Illuminar. They find their response in the second round.
And I've heard many a person on Twitter, many a people I've spoken to have said, you know, the 5 is not that OP. Like, it's not that broken.
Mate, it's so broken.
Case in point, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
the
so
5-7's so good, right? I mean, in the right hands, that thing is so overpowered. And there's a prime example. Credit to Illuminar, tie things back up 1 apiece. Masked again with that scout causing problems. In towards upper tunnels. Yuta will come through. Reeds wants to take face. He wants the initial with a contact. The top runs on the right ears. Swing from EXUS for a double. And Fantasy left down to 2.
Yeah, just another punishing round, really, isn't it? Fantasy try their luck at a response by a force investment made. And it is indeed Illuminar to shut things down nigh flawlessly as well. It was only Reeds that fell, Topa getting his way in. But ultimately, it's 4 surviving for Illuminar, including an AK as well. May I bear that in mind? You know, they bought an AK in the second round, Fantasy. Completely punished for it. Illuminar have them covered. And they've been looking pretty good here, Illuminar. I mean, sure, they did lose out on the pistol, but notice how proactive they were being, right? Push towards upper tunnels in the pistol. 5 stack on long in the second round. There was a flank on long in the third. Illuminar are always trying to find their ways in. The little wiggle room that they're given to exploit the Fantasy T side, and they're doing a brilliant job in doing so. And yet again, this time it's a set piece. Morels, he's able to take one down with the nades. Reeds doubles up. Easy kills against the eco.
Who needs eyes? Full blind. Reach finds double. Leaving it down once again to 2. I fancy this is a low buy. The priority in these sort of rounds is trying to get that bomb down. And, of course, this time it's looking very unlikely. 1 versus 5 for Topa. A P250 in hand. No util. No armor. He's the meat grinder of long he goes. And he's minced down by Morels. Another pretty comfortable, astounding round there for Illuminar. Granted, the competition wasn't too much. It was just a pistol. But full blind. Reach finding a double to open things up. Just more or less single-handedly won the round. 3-1, they extend the lead to 2. at Fantasy. Finally, we see a full buy back out from them. But it's not exactly like Illuminar are going to be poor, even if they lose this bonus.
Morels running straight through middle. I thought it was just a peek for suicide to slip towards B. Instead, Illuminar wants to take the fight early on towards middle. It's the AK. Gets up close and personal. Scout masked, looking to connect a molly towards lower, isolating Bro as he goes pushing forward, and Illuminar making such light work of Fantasy here to begin with. 3 kills, responseless left Fantasy, and the mixed team not really left with much to work with here. aykeN and Topa, 2 versus 5. Not to mention aykeN is yet to get a kill on the server today, so not the ideal way to start things out. Can he make it 1 in this round and at least do some damage to the Illuminar CT side? I'd highly doubt so from this position. I think Illuminar have got a one-way ticket to a 4-1 scoreline.
I think you're right. 2 versus 5. I mean, of course, Morel's 1 point of HP, so I guess it's 2 versus 4.5. Bacon gonna find Reeds. That's a good opener. Short control gain, and he's off the board as well. But still, for Fantasy, it's a long road to recovery into towards round number 5 to make this one work. aykeN still over towards short. They know his position. It's more of a question of where his Topa lurking. And for Illuminar, they can just play the buddy system. With numbers in their favour, they can play for trades, they can play for the crossfires. This bonus could work nicely. Swinging out. Tower's going to find aykeN. Leaves Topa alone over towards that B site, but he might be able to get the bomb down.
Money is something that Fantasy would cherish at this stage in the game, but he taps it. Doesn't go for the full plant. He's burning in a molly. Not to mention his own as well. Flashbang chucked in by the one and only. And now they're going to just start to swarm the site. Great shot from Topa. Looking for a second, trying to tap away. Will not connect the headshot, and for that, Illuminar giving a lot of space there to Fantasy to find 3 kills in the 2v5. That's a bit of a mini win for Fantasy there, but ultimately it's a big L next to round 5 for themselves. It's 4-1 in favour of the Polish squad.
Yeah, I guess the most important thing to take away from that sort of round is the fact that Illuminar have converted the bonus, because it means it kind of reinvenes and sets their long-term economy in such a great way, right? When you look over towards kind of the T side, it's not the same. They're going to go for a slight hero AK buy here. They got Topa pick up the AK-47, supported by a scout, which is immediately put to rest by the hands of Mast. Everything is looking great over towards Illuminar. Another tag with the scout coming through. Second time of asking Tower what other ideas. Molly will be dropped in towards tunnels, but Bro can find himself 1.
EXUS punishing again. Rilax able to at least get for 1. 2v3, I mean, it's not the worst scenario for Fantasy to be living in. Unfortunately, I feel like they're going to get evicted yet again from round 6. Morel's starting to hold shift now on the control key as he moves in close short. Bro, holding middle. Oh my god, timing, and it's 1 for 1. Rilax another. And actually, it's down to the wire here in the clutch scenario. Masked with the AWP. It's 1 shot either way that would work out. Rilax thinking about B. Bomb in his pocket, 50 seconds to work with. Time is on his side.
Yeah, kind of, again, despite having a low buy, Fantasy have sort of plugged their way to now in a really good position. No, Mast. Overextension here could be costly, but he could tuck himself into his double doors. He's playing so passively and expecting mistakes, but same can be said for Rilax. Both sides not moving, take a shot through the door, and you guarantee a kill for Rilax, but he looks like he wants to make his way over towards short. Has he been heard? He has! Mask gets timing to perfection and makes that one work, but what you really have to consider there is the investment that Fantasy brought in towards that round, and the fact that they made it so close.
Costly, I think, is the word that comes to mind in that round. 4 kills again. But just the inability to convert is what's worrying me already for Fantasy. I mean, sure, you know, Illuminar, it's not exactly a map that they haven't played before. I'm just, I don't know, a little bit more worried that we're 6 rounds in, you've only won 1 of them, but how many times have we come down to a 1vx scenario that looks very winnable on paper? Fantasy should be able to close out a few more rounds. They've got AKs available to them in this one, though. So let's see how things develop in round 7. We need to start putting rounds on the board if we're Fantasy here. And this is probably the best chance you'll get in a little while.
For now, out towards long. Space created. aykeN open hand. looking to make something work here. The question is, do they expect Reeds tucked in closed? It might not even be a consideration. The molly might force him off the angle, though. Reeds burning, smoke deployed as well. That gives away his route. He's tucked in towards Carl, but staying alive is a priority because Morales is in behind. Finding the first, looking to make it a second with a bomb drop just around the corner. This could be dicey, and it is. Relax falls, he's spotted the bomb, and this round starts to crumble from the hands of Fantasy one by one.
Tudson is able to find one. Topa mollied off. Yet again, it's just push after push from Illuminar. They're playing 4D chess. And Fantasy is stuck in the second dimension. Just twisting and turning around every single corner. Illuminar finding kills. aykeN through the wall, getting masked at least. But eventually he's taken down by Reeds, and this is just another Tudson clutch required. And I feel like this is a step a little bit too far for my liking. Fantasy's map pick starting to backfire drastically already. 20 seconds left in this round. Reeds playing that car position once more. Tudson spots him out, but the information goes both ways. Ultimately, 11 seconds to try and get the bomb down. He's better off saving the AK. The one and only. He's just going to give him a bit of space. He's waiting for that time to expire. This is smart here from Illuminar. They're going to try and make sure that Tudson goes down after time. The one and only running around trying to find him. Does he know? Absolutely not. Tudson slips into the close angle. But ultimately, they concede a sixth now. It's Illuminar that lead by 5.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's the extensions coming through from Illuminar. They're so good at gaining early map control and denying any presence for Fantasy. Again, in towards upper tunnels. EXUS has been a real issue time and time again. Pushing in towards upper tunnels, getting not only a kill here or there, but most importantly, information. That's all he's there for. Get info, see how they're setting up to their takes, see what the rotations are looking like. For Fantasy, again, it's back down to a pretty rough buy of just the Eagles to support that one saved AK for Tudson. And you'd probably say as well, all things considered, if they can get a bomb plant here, that'd be great, but I think it's really, really unlikely.
I mean, this is a deep investment made by Fantasy. 4-round loss bonus, you can kind of get away with investments like these. But man, does it look good for Illuminar to kick things off. And as I was saying, I was looking over at 1xBet to check out what it looked like, right? On paper, who was the favourites. Things were very split down the middle now. There wasn't much in it between these two sides. I think we're starting to see what we were talking about in the pre-game, though, where Fantasy, majoritively a mix. Maybe, yeah, sure, they did get a bit of practice in as a team before these RMRs, but ultimately, they're a team that came together merely just because they all played FPLC and they all pugged together at one point, So, it's a bit disappointing to see that Illuminar are walking over them so bad. We thought AIM was going to be an advantage in this round. I can show him what's up. Brilliant first kill. Morel sitting behind the smoke. Trades are out. And no, this is the power of the M4A1Ss and the power of the flanks. As EXUS goes for 2. Executed by Topa. Mars trying for the jump in no scopes. Going for the Cookley. Instead. Oh! Okay. There you go. Right. Third tries your charm. Hits it with the 5-7. Another reason as to why that gun absolutely is insane. What a shot, by the way. I'm not sure if we'll have a replay of it. That was lethal. That's insane. That is unreal.
Yeah, that's a cracker. That is a cracker. I mean, again, what we said for kind of for Fantasy, getting a bomb on is a sort of priority in that sort of round. The investment was so low, but yeah, Illuminar, other ideas. It's a round in which only should go one way, and the fact that it does, it is what matters. But you have to look at this like kind of series in a bit of a macro sense in terms of how rough this could be for Fantasy if they don't take their map pick. Dust2 has to go their way. They have to set the precedent here if they want a chance in this best of 3. Because you look towards map number 2, right? Ancient, the pick of Illuminar. Fantasy have never played it on HTV in any of their qualifiers, any of kind of their previous games in the RMR. Where for Illuminar, it's one of their most picked maps. It's one of their stronger maps. Statistically speaking, they struggle a little bit at times, but they've actually had some fairly decent and close games on it. But yeah, it's a map in which Fantasy, Illuminar, might I say, are proven to be pretty good on. They're coming off the back of a 16-12 against Estrada's Talent. They've taken on the Beyond Hospital boys and lost an OT. Those are kind of some of the best coming out of Bulgaria. But I think if Fantasy don't put up a strong performance on Dust2 or take it, they're going to struggle to take anything in this series.
Certainly does feel that way. Great shot from aykeN. Quite late as well into the round to go for the wall bangs. Reeds dinking up Relax, going for one of his own as well. His flank yet again. Morel's just somehow here. Like, I didn't even see how he's got here. But he's just wandered in. EXUS for a double. Fantasy, man, they are getting mauled on this T side. Just can't get their way in. And I mean, what, we're 40 seconds into the round, and it's another 1vx scenario. It's Fantasy living in financial slums in the next round because Illuminar have just been wandering wherever they want, and it's just been working.
Yeah, and it's very one-dimensional play here by Fantasy as well, which makes Illuminar so easy for them to read into it. aykeN with the AWP, he's been spotted out now. The hunt call has to be made. There's 45 seconds to keep this AWP in play. That's going to be difficult. Jiggle peeking from the box. He's so cautious of tunnels. But I think swings come through. Tag damage left, right, and center. Can he keep this AWP in play is the big question. I think the answer might be no, because there's 4 bodies swarming in on his location. And he's got a lot of time to try and burn to keep this AWP in play. Going to relocate, in fact. We're trying to walk into the hands of Tao. It's getting dicey. And I can't see a world in which he keeps this in play. And for not much longer, he'll be able to do so. aykeN falls. At 8th for Illuminar, they guarantee themselves a lead at the half, and the way that they're playing, they're going to extend this to many, many more.
I mean, if I'm honest with you, I'm so convinced that this could very easily be a 14-1 half. Morel's, look at his kills. 15 and 3 in 9 rounds of Counter-Strike. He's having a great day in the office, I'm not going to lie, you know. He sat down, morning cup of coffee, he's like, dude, I'm ready to shoot some heads today. I don't know about you guys. I'm not going 0-3 in this RMR. I want a win to our name. And they are certainly delivering. Looking empowering here on Dust2, which, you know, if you've only just joined us and haven't really had time to look at the veto or whatever, this is Fantasy's map pick, as you can see in the top left-hand corner there, playing on Dust2, picked by the Fantasy side. I mean, sure, the argument is this is a CT-sided map. You are expecting the CTs to have a better performance. For Fantasy to pick this map, to go for a puggy style, to go for what is that classic FPLC kind of map.
Yeah.
The fact that you're second best and in the first 9 rounds you've lost 8 of them, which is very disappointing in general to see. HE scoring big, big numbers. Mask dropping bombs on short. Tudson, Topa, Rilax, aykeN all taking mega damage to it. Oh, having a look over the top, the AK, it could be in for a field day. There's your first, looking for a second. aykeN will respond. The one and only looking to drop a molly in as well. Reek starting to pepper some down. Well, has to withdraw his Molotov as he spots a player on the boxes. Yep, sure, made costly. Illuminar. No way they don't find 9 though. Rilax, he's going to hear the tap of the bomb. Swings in, nobody's on it. I'm going to chill, but a smoke on top of the C4 causes more issues unless more shots like that connect. Perfect timing for Reeks to swing out through the right-hand side of that smoke. Just as Rilax leans down to pick up the gun, Reeks punishes, and it's a 9 on the board for Illuminar. Made expensive, may I say. Probably the closest round of the lot so far.
Do you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's actually not a bad round for Fantasy. You get a bomb plot, 4 out of 5 kills. That really isn't too shabby, but it still doesn't make a dent at all in the deficit, and actually is made even worse. 9-1 now. Illuminar just pulling away with this one. And you kind of what you mentioned earlier about if this is a 14-1 half, it doesn't even seem like too much of a shock. I mean, Illuminar have just been, in every way, in terms of a macro and micro sense, the better side. They're winning their angels, but their map control was so much better. Their ability to call and kind of get a good judgment on rotation has been so much better with a Fantasy. They are finding no form over towards this T side. And you get concerned that if this transfers in towards Ancient, this might be a very speedy best of 3.
Definitely could be done extremely quickly with this opening map. Looking that way, isn't it? Illuminar well over halfway to winning. First 10 rounds, 9 of them scored in the favour of the CTs. Minute left on the clock now. Bombs out towards B. Short controls theirs. Tudson looking towards long. Obviously in the double door room right now. Very passively taken by Fantasy, realising that Illuminar are getting aggressive in the early rounds. They want to punish. Just when they want to play passive, Illuminar, they're going to hang every single Fantasy player in limbo. You don't know where we've pushed. The answer is we haven't. Obviously, Fantasy are none the wiser to that idea. Masked, taking some early damage. The AWP kind of low. Goes in, takes down Tudson. Just, I mean, why would you have a molly out there, Masked? He's punished for it. 4 versus 3, Rilax to scoop up the big green, and now the execute starts to happen towards A, and Illuminar, for the first time in a while, have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, they heard as well. Swing off the back of it, broke at it before the flash. EXUS will be in for a 1-for-1. And with damage dealt over towards Relax, there's a real potential here that Fancy need to be cautious not to overextend. Relax low on HP. Armor as well over towards the other two, but even still.
The boost. Are you going to expect this one, aykeN? Over the top, has a look. The AK messy spray. 2 players low now. It's a lot more doable, a lot more manageable for Illuminar. The retake, the first of 3 found. A second kill goes in favor of Topa as he lines them both up. And it's a second on the board for Fantasy. It takes a damn long time, but they do get there eventually. And the game of chase is on. Ideally, they want the rest. It needs to be a 9-6 half for us to even have a conversation. Is to reintroduce them to winning the map of Dust2.
Starting to show as well that there is kind of a backbone to this Fantasy side in terms of what they're trying to approach over towards their T side. Much better. Their short default this time works really well. And actually, the thing that becomes punishing towards Illuminar is the fact that they don't get aggressive. The fact that they don't try and get that early map control that they've gained so many times. That was the most costly thing about it. This time out, though, towards lower tons, they're getting a lot of space, but it leaves one man isolated over towards that A site, and it's out of reads. Tudson finds a double. He's causing issues, but tower trade, but even still, a 2-for-1. Fantasy are not going to say no.
They've got to accelerate towards A here, Fantasy. You know that you've just fought 3 players in tunnels. I mean, sure, 2 died, so that leaves a maximum of 2 players on A, and you've stacked 4 out on long. This is a super winnable scenario for them to be in. A smoke that lands on top of the molly. That bails Reets out. This could be a complete oversight from Fantasy. Topa knows all too well about it, though. And it's the one and only against 4. And unfortunately, he's not going to be the one and only. He's just going to be a man to keep an M4 in this round. Illuminar, they'll concede a 3rd. And it is by elimination. No weapons for the Illuminar side. And that money, it's blown up to absolute pieces. Illuminar are going to have to take an eco here. So Fantasy on for 4.
Fair play to them. You know what? We're going to already starting to kind of posture up and say, yeah, you know, Fantasy, I don't think they're going to get too much over towards their T side. This is already looking a lot better. I think the main thing that we want to see from Fantasy is to set themselves up for positivity in towards the second half, right? Set themselves up with a foundation that makes that CT side all the more important. aykeN starting to wake up to the fact that there's been a lower tunnels push many around now. On this low buy, we're just going to go aggro over USPS.
I like it, man. I mean, a complete oversight from short. Hudson didn't spot any of these players pushing out. Relax. Oh, relax. No chill for the big man. 3 heads. No chance. Illuminar set back another peg. It's going to be a 4th on the board for Fantasy. And near flawlessly as well. I'm wondering if there's going to be a gun to be picked up. No. Mask will fall. Relax makes it 4. And Fantasy up to 4.
Yeah, it's quite comfortable. I mean, low buy for Illuminar, or more or less no buy, in fact. To be perfectly honest, for them, you can't really expect too much from Illuminar. If they get a kill, if they get a gun, there's a positive there, but it's very unlikely, and it showed quite easy for Fantasy up to 4. It's now, of course, on the other side about Illuminar, kind of resetting things, getting things back under control for the CT side. They need to be cautious, crossing doors as well. aykeN gets info. Does he expect there to be a double stack here towards the B side as a nade will come through?
Hudson slips in towards lower. This has been a massive exploit for Illuminar so far, so it's nice to see that Fantasy are challenging towards the lower tunnels on B so early on. This round, it's Master that gets aggressive in on long. That smoke, all about full sense of security, right? Master caught completely blind, so Bro does his job in establishing information through the use of grenades. Hinge smoke right-clicked in. Ultimately, Fantasy have extinguished any form of early pressure here Illuminar wanted to put on them. And being the penultimate round of the first half, and Illuminar investing every dollar they have into this round, if Fantasy find 5, there's a good chance they make it 6.
Relax again, leading the charge. He started to wake up a bit. I know he got a couple of ecos, but in the grand scheme, we've seen quite a few positivities coming out of Relax. He started to step up individually, and oh, so far, so good. Flash come out towards B. X is in such a tough angle to clear as well. Many people don't clear this close position. And a double stack as well with Tau in towards back side makes it very difficult to try an entry on towards his side. And X will find the first. He can fall away due to the smoke back over towards Car and invite the pressure straight into the hands of Tau. Oh, spot 1. Messy spray finds Bro on the trade. Needs to be careful. The mid split and aykeN will trade him out. That's the B site open. And Tudson holding for rotations too.
Oh, brilliant though from Reets to be able to sniff out the flank. aykeN on the AWP, 1 versus 3. Now they know he's getting aggressive with the big green, and I think a lot more of a passive game going to be played by Illuminar. It's just flashes, to try and block the vision. Be a little smarter. Mask walks into the AWP though. 5 seconds left. Illuminar, they're going to run him down. And he doesn't even get the plant, so no extra money for Fantasy. It's 2 weapons saved. It's still bad money from the CT side, but at least they find double digits.
Yeah, positives, again, to be taken away, but it is just that case of now that Illuminar are guaranteeing themselves at the very least double digits from the first half, which sets themselves up so comfortably for this entire map. And reminder as well, this is Fantasy's pick. This is a map in which, you know, kind of Fantasy felt they had the most strength coming in towards this series on. And they are still struggling. Fun round of the half. Full buyout both ways. The only, I guess, hiccup you could say is EXUS on an MP9, but with his aggression in towards upper tunnels, and I think it actually kind of works for him quite nicely.
Well, considering there's only one player here as well, if Relax is second best, he's flashed off EXUS. No, if he'd swung a little bit deeper, Relax was a dead man. Instead, crossing his fingers was enough to keep him alive in the early stages of round 15. Illuminar forced out of middle as well. Morels will not have any control or any say in what Fantasy do towards the hub of Dust2. Gonna get close to the reverse side of the door. With a minute and 10 to go, he's just gonna keep his ears wide open. Make sure he's picking up on every footstep, every pin pulled, every bit of information that would help his team know that this is indeed an A play.
Sure, default coming through. Usual being set up as well, nice and deep. Tao nearly spots him in for animation, but they actually fall back over towards double doors. This is already setting up to be a pretty standard A hit. If they try and split through mid, they get punished. So they're going to just double back towards short. 40 seconds to work with. Very slow approach here by Fantasy. What is the decision to be made here? Reach is going to be probably good for one. He tucked himself deep in towards pit. Mars can hold from range too. It's so comfortable for him. Reach will drop a smoke. That gives away his position. But staying alive is all that matters. With Mars falling though, this makes it all the tougher. Touchdown jumping in with the bomb though. That's messy and Reach makes it a double. Morel's to his own. Leaves aykeN all alone. And AWP in hand. He will find himself one, but there's 3 more bodies at 13 seconds.
No time, no chance, no opportunity. aykeN finding another. But the one and only will find the flank. So it's 11-4 at the halftime whistle. As definitive, as dominant, as concise as you'd like. It's Illuminar that walk away with a stonking lead on the pick of Fantasy here of Dust2. Can they close things out in the second half? We'll find out after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey Future Pros! Some people hate Dust2. Anyway, here's a cool smoke that you can throw from T-spawn to land on the hinge of the mid double doors. Without going down a rabbit hole, you will need a scope to line this one up. To throw the smoke, get into this mini corner along the fence. Crouch down and double scope to find this smudge along the awning. Then simply jump through the smoke while crouched. By some miracle, the smoke will land.
An 11-4 half leaves Fantasy with a lot of questions and not a lot of time to give us answers on their CT side. They are 5 rounds away from losing their map pick of Dust2 and ultimately forced to win on Ancient. It was Illuminar's pick in the best of 3. And so, quite honestly, the humble tone is they are 21 rounds away from losing their chance to run into Rio.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate. I mean, so far, Fantasy have struggled massively to get off the board in any sense. They struggle to get any control of momentum. And aykeN takes a ding through the car already, taking face over towards Long, looking for a head to 5, but he's being flooded with bodies.
And those Glocks, just so good at isolating angles. EXUS finds the opening kill. aykeN, like the bait on the end of the hook, just left there to try and bait in these Illuminar players. Great shot from Tudson. Mask still looking for opportunities with the Glock. Leaping over. Get that bomb plant. Relax. Dishing out more pain with that USP. But now it's Fantasy's turn to make the aggressive play. Mask, another great shot with the Glock. These headshots, man, they've been lethal. It was EXUS to start things off onto aykeN. Now it's Topa out from the round. Bro looking for his chance. Tudson, good response from Tudson as he finds himself a hat-trick. Could be a quad as well, and of course, it's with Rilax, in fact, to pinch it away. But it doesn't matter how they get them at this point. Fantasy just needed rounds on the board, and that they now have.
Yeah, that's the start they needed. I think we've already said about how momentum heavy this roster is. They need to kickstart a little bit of success over towards their CT side. But a bomb plant for Illuminar is really not bad because it gives them economy to work with heading in towards round number 17. We see a nice comfortable buy, at the very least, kind of, the Galils, the slight lower rifles, maybe a Mac-10 here or there if they want to farm some cash. For Fantasy, while yes, they've won the round, it's a similar buy to that of Illuminar, which makes this all the more important. Winner of this takes a lot of momentum into the early part of the second half, and we know Illuminar converted the force buy in towards the previous half. So Fantasy, they can't get too comfortable just yet.
Slow from Illuminar. Wondering what the game plan is here in round 17. Of course, they got a bomb plant, hence the investment made. Fantasy's investment slightly better, though. Some M4, some consistency with rifles for that CT side, and a very, very quick execute towards A. Like, that happened in a second or two, these smokes being plumed. It's very pacey. The one and only looking out for the late lurk in middle. They read into that one all too well, but actually, this is smart from Illuminar. They don't pull the pin, they don't make noise, they don't give anything away. Only now, when the bullets are fired, do they let go of the shift keys, but they've already got the site as their own, and now a retake required from Fantasy. Sure, it's multi-pronged, but they've kind of been caught off guard with this play.
Yeah, he getting behind, though. Got a bit of space, double stack, triple it back in towards short, and morales will fall. Has to convert a couple air reads, and he can't. Only one. EXUS doesn't even find one himself, and the scout gets domed. Really well played. Relax. It's a fantastic round from him individually with 3 kills. And that cements the strong start for Fantasy. When they kick-started this map on towards their T side, they found a pistol, but they couldn't convert the force, which left them in no man's land and limbo for quite a long time. Now, of course, they've taken control of the reins, and they're going to keep it for a little bit, because the buy for Illuminar's going to be pretty dicey. We're going to see, at the very most, sort of upgraded pistols, bit of utility, but in fact, Mask might slightly force into this. He's going to pick up the scout, so it's a classic MM strat here of what I like to call tag him and bag him. Mask will tag him, and everyone else will bag him with the pistols.
It's not the worst situation as well either, is it? Because the scout is very lethal. You start to see the holes that it can poke through the Fantasy defense. aykeN, very aggressive in nature. That's the bomb spotted in T-spawn. That was probably the weirdest engagement we'll see today on Dust2. Wait, the bomb is just sat where the football is. And my question is now, why aren't we playing footy, you know? Nice sunny day in Dust2. Get together. Lovely day of footy, I don't know. Maybe it's just the British thing, you know, that we'd do that.
It's like that map. I can't remember even what it's called. It was like a casual map, or it was. You could play it in like MM, but it had a football pitch. You know what I'm all about? It had like a climbing wall. Yeah. It had like a climbing wall. And it was a hostage map.
Oh, mate. Oh, I know exactly what you're on about as well.
And in warm-up, you can go play football, but it will close
give us
during
a
the
sec,
actual game.
give us a sec, give us a sec.
Yeah.
Because I've played that map before in like
my
a
friend
10-man.
made it. Yeah. aykeN for the first, Master fought. Smokes in towards the CT cross. These pistols are being made mincemeats by the rifles there, as expected, but this has been so comfortable. Early bit to damage. We're not really finding too much here. And Illuminar getting picked apart. That's the scout out of commission. Molotov as well to deny a little bit of this short control, but for Rilax, he should be comfortable. So I say, Hector's will find himself one, but he's not long lived for this world as he instantly traded only one casualty for Fantasy to extend their run here on the CT side up towards 7, and the deficit down to 4 rounds. They're starting to make an attempt on towards their map pick of making it a little bit more even.
Do you know what? I'm getting really annoyed now because you've mentioned the map and I've played it before, and
I can tell you who makes it because it's my friend. I went to university with him called Quoting.
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. He follows me. He's a nice guy, actually.
Good lad. I went to uni with him.
Good map as well, may I say. Very nice map. But it's just bothering me because I know exactly what you're on about, and I just can't think of it. Climb.
Because I remember it as a wall climbing. As a climbing wall.
Yeah, well, that would have been obvious, wouldn't it? Speaking of obvious, the AWP sees man in crosshair, presses left click, step 3 profit, something like that. Masked is eliminated early doors. aykeN repositioning out towards long. Obviously, being there so late in the round, he's got to be careful of every nook and cranny. Smoke deployed in front of him, and that's just to give space. They can now go for a cheeky little bit of a boost. I like this play, aykeN. Having a look, spots the head of Morels. Oh, what? CSGO. And again, no, missed aykeN. 2 very easy chances, fluffs them both up.
That's unfortunate. That can be costly as well. Gives a lot of space towards that CT side of Morels. What a shot. Brings the numbers back level.
That's a brilliant shot. Brilliant accuracy as well with the AWP. Morels could be in for another. Topa a whisker away from overstepping the mark too much and being punished for his actions. Flash lobbed in. 25 seconds. Time is going to be such a forte for Fantasy. Tudson's flank delivering good. Bro with another. A double kill and the bomb dropped as well. Morels' AWP going to be left to save. It's an 8th on the board for Fantasy. And while we counted them out in the first half, the game of chase is certainly on. And their CT side is delivering.
It's looking much better. I mean, Fantasy, the approach they're taking over towards their CT side is netting them a lot of these individual aim duels, which is kind of what we said is making, or would make, Fantasy a strong side. They need to rely off the back of their mechanical prowess. And not to say that Illuminar, of course, don't have their own, but that's what is the main strength of this Fantasy side. They're an FBLC mix. They came through the qualifier, the open quals with an hour's notice, so to say.
Yeah.
And what they're looking for is individuals stepping up. And that's what we're starting to see. Players like aykeN having a fairly decent showing. Of course, maybe not that round just seen, but Rilax. Fantastic in towards that first half on his T side. Topa at his moments of brilliance too. Tudson, we've seen him step up when needed. And that's what makes his Fantasy side good. For Illuminar, losing their aim duels is becoming very, very costly because they struggle from a man disadvantage situation.
EXUS starting to move out. Yeah, back into the smoke, mate. That molly is looking lethal. Topa wastes all of his ammunition. Fortunately, Rilax is there to bail him out. That could have got very scary, though, for Topa. As you can hear the cling when he presses left mouse button. There was no bullets left in that magazine to empty out into those terrorists pushing long. And he was basically dead meat if his teammate didn't come and save the day. Rilax. Gonna get an extra hug, maybe, afterwards. Be like, thanks, man. Saved my life that round. Very important as well, because, of course, this is a half-buy for Illuminar. Any weapon they can get their hands on will only improve the odds of them winning this round.
Flash coming through as well.
That's disgusting.
Double for Rilax through the smoke. That's so unfortunate. If you're Illuminar, you've done nothing wrong. And you've been punished. Through a smoke, PT50 trying to make some space over towards window, but for Tami, what can he do here? There's so little that he has to go off. Damage dealt, but that's all it will be. A flawless round for Fantasy as they chip the deficit away to 2 rounds. They are within reach of catching this game up to Illuminar. And we were already kind of setting things up for being a very quick best of 3 potentially, just because of how good Illuminar were looking on their CT side. And this has been a rough showing so far on C side.
Pretty disappointing from Illuminar, considering how well they were doing as well in that first half. 11-4, right? I mean, I don't think either of us counted Fantasy completely out, but we were saying those odds just looking so scary. It just indefinitely better for that Illuminar side to convert. Another aggressive play, this time from Fantasy. That CT side, it's aggression from both parties, and Fantasy realising the profit they can make from it as well. Wandering in with the AWP, aykeN finds the kill. Topa eliminated. From 11-4, this is looking like an 11-10. EXUS, he doesn't check this angle. Topa is in for a field day. The flash doesn't work, and indeed he will be. Goes for a bit of a wallbang as well. 5 points of health the difference. Rilax will find another. aykeN's AWP for a second, and Morel's left alone. A CT side that was 11-4 up now. The chance, the probability of converting that, an 88% probability in the entirety of Dust2, all time, all levels. And it might just be part of that 12% that says no. 10-11, first time out called for by Illuminar. I feel like this one's 5 rounds too late though, son.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like for Illuminar, you know, maybe off the back of losing their fours, attack push should have come through to kind of figure out, okay, what's the game plan now? How do we try and regain control of this map to, you know, gain a massive advantage in the series? But no, it's starting to crumble. Fantasy are 1 round behind, but the economy over towards the T side is in dire straits. They're going to go for a slight upgraded pistol buy, not too much of force. They do have a loss bonus to work with, but even still, money's pretty bad. The situation's pretty bad towards Illuminar. And as you mentioned, from an 11-4 lead to let this one crumble, not often you see that, but they have really kind of choked this one out. Is probably the best way to put it. It has been a tough watch, all things considered. And for a side like Illuminar, who come in as a stable roster, a side who have worked together so well within Tier 2, not often you see a kind of a crumble like this. Topa pulled his knife out at the worst time, though. That is unfortunate to see. That's a free AK.
Leg shot masked, gone. Toe out a second. It's Illuminar on pistols that are starting to find gaps in the defense of Fantasy. And this would be a horrific round to lose. Tudson Dinks could follow similar steps. Tudson, whoa, Tudson keeps things cool as Bro finds the 4th. It's a Reeds 1v3, but it's so much more manageable than you'd think. It's already down to 2. The AWP nearly finds Bro through the smoke. A leg shot would have been the difference. The bomb in no man's land, but he's got a minute and 10 to work with.
Definitely still time. I mean, this is a bit of a crumble from Fantasy. Even if it ends like this, you know, the fact that they've walked away with 3 kills is huge, but Reeds has got space. Half armor, bomb to be collected, and an AWP to work with, but does he expect the flank is the big question. Sound cues would have been heard. Bro surely understands exactly where he's coming from, and the bomb should be able to go down. It's a question of how does he play the close part now? Rotating in. He's still so cautious up behind. Is he even aware of tunnels? He is. Swinging in. Deagle takes a tag, but he will be dropped by Bro. And just like that, Fantasy regained control of what was a very, very dicey affair. That nearly crumbled from beneath them.
Yeah. I think, do you know what as well? It's not the worst situation to be in for Illuminar, right? I mean, sure, you get, what, 3 kills for nothing? Maybe it's 3 for 1 in the early stages of the round. Tudson, a brilliant job, though, on this spray down. I was going to mention this play individually. How cool you have to be able to hit that. The nerves just kept at bay. God, B site's open. I have to find a couple. I have to get inventive in the way I want to win this round. And a spray down certainly would do. But Illuminar walking away with a bomb plant and a boatload of damage done integrally to that Fantasy side. Now your mind starts to wander. This game certainly still looks a bit closer than it should be.
Topa tucked out towards blue for now. I mean, he's trying to invite a little bit of pressure out of doors. And Mars needs to be careful. Ton of vision over towards that left-hand side. This could get dicey. A couple of players lining up. Topa going to fall back towards Pit, but the sound cue could be problematic. As the smoke dissipates, space for Illuminar to work with. But Topa will take the first point of contact, and he passes it with flying colours. EXUS to fall.
Topa swings back in. Reeds will punish. Illuminar level things back out. A comfy standing. For both sides, I'd argue. For Fantasy, they get the information on where Illuminar stand. For Illuminar, they've always gone a man down and been left quite responseless. So at least they get their window of opportunity back into this one. A smoke to give coverage. Mars just going to slip right into pit. Ultimately, the next 40 seconds, if Fantasy don't show any face, if none of them peek, none of them give away what they're up to, they'll be able to score this round, because Illuminar don't really have much utility to work with. It's just 2 smokes, a molly, and a few flashbangs. Boost over the top. Nice shot from aykeN. Whittling those odds down for Illuminar, finding 12. 20 seconds, the great flashbang. Tudson getting himself into the action as Mars will take him down. But a trade is good enough. Toa with a 1-tap though. 15 seconds, still 1 on site, 1 on CT. Mars still needs to cross with the bomb. The next kill, it's important, bro. Taken down, Mars with another. 8 seconds left on the clock. It's damn close. But Illuminar have their way in on the T side.
Finally we see some success coming out of the T side of Illuminar. It took a long time to get the ball rolling, a long time for them to find success. And even when they do find success, it's expensive as well. But it's success all the less. That's the one thing we can take away that we really matter here for Illuminar. They've got an idea about how to find positivity over towards the T side on Dust2. And now it's about, can they continue this for the last 4 rounds just to see out this first map in their favor. Mars off the back of the flash. Long control gained. For Fantasy, I think that's a little bit of a shock to the system. Things are looking so good for them. That's the first time they've seen that they've had to take a little bit of a breather and kind of understand, okay, how have we let that one slip?
Does get a bit difficult, isn't it? Solutions start to flood your mind. We had such a strong start on this CT affair. You know, it was a flawless way back in. Illuminar 11-4 to 11 all. You know, you can't really write that in any other way for Fantasy. They've reintroduced themselves to Dust2. Second best in the previous, but that doesn't mean it has to stay that way for the rest of this map. Let's see if they've got anything in their back pockets here, the mix. As it is a buy of desperation for Illuminar in this round. No money in their pockets. A luxury that Fantasy can afford is a rebuy. And look at how much time we've spent wasting here for Fantasy. It's 36 seconds left. Short isn't theirs. Bombs in T-spawn. Sure, a couple of players have slipped in close along now, but this is not the ideal situation whatsoever. You needed the short control 30, 40 seconds ago.
This really isn't looking too good. Molly will come through as well. It's a 1-for-1 as Morels finds a trade, but Topa in for one of his own. Flash won't allow Tudson to take the shot, and Topa makes it too. He's going for a kukli, but nothing spotted. While control still in favour of the CT side, time is dwindling. Will the bomb be able to go down? 6 seconds, and I just make it. The no-scope gets so close for comfort, but Tao left all alone.
Spotted. Tudson goes for it. Topa from short will find his third. And it's going to be Fantasy that equalise, whittled down 1 by 1. Illuminar just couldn't win a fight to save their lives. It was only Relax that falls to the hands of Morels. And it is all tied up at 12 all. What an entertaining game we've been in for. I think at 11-4, you know, in the break now, we get to have a little chat. Stream doesn't hear us, and we were like, dude, this could be a very quick best of 3. Illuminar looking like a force to be reckoned with. Instead, it's Fantasy in the second half that come out on top. And what, in 10 rounds, Fantasy have won 9 of them. It's 12 all, it's tie game, and it's a chance for them to run with the show.
It's tie game, but it feels like this is kind of just a moment in time before Fantasy see this one in their favour. Illuminar have nothing on their T side. You can really see as well their ability, kind of what they're attempting to do time and time again on their T side. Just, it simply isn't good enough. I mean, it seems like their idea over towards the T side is really struggling. And credit to Fantasy, they're just playing off the back of individuals stepping up. Their mechanical prowess has been fantastic. And they're winning their Angels. So simple but so effective. Illuminar simply crumbling on what is a great CT performance so far from Fantasy. Util's come through, potentially setting up for what is going to be a split, but to where?
Smoke towards CT would give you the idea that it's going to be a B play. We don't have tunnels control. And we only have one player in towards lower, so for Illuminar, they themselves thinking about an A play more than a B play. What that smoke has done, though, is baited out a lot of the utility from Rilax in CT spawn. You know, he's thrown a counter nade, a counter smoke as well. And I think that was the goal for Illuminar here, is to try and whittle away the utility for the CT side, because they don't have much in their pockets either. Meaning, they need every opportunity to win some gunfights. But it's Relax to open things up. Relax a second. Close to CT. Maybe overthought by the T side of Illuminar. Bro finding a third. It's a 2 versus 4. Fantasy, I do believe, for the first time since the pistol, will be taking the lead here on Dust2.
Oh, that's talented ideas. aykeN will fall. X has got a bit of space over to a short. And the question is, do they even expect him as well with the kind of mid-aggression that's been coming through? A jump as well from Tudson. That is so unfortunate.
No
Jump
way.
line becomes so costly. And it's allowed Illuminar to get the bomb down and set up a 2 versus 2. This should have been a surefire round in favor of the CT side. And one jump, one accidental mouse wheel jump has been so costly because now it's a 2 versus 2. And Illuminar could notch themselves a 13th here.
There's every opportunity, every chance for EXUS as he finds one with the AWP. And as things get even more intense, it's Fantasy that buckle under the pressures of a 2 versus 4. They had the numbers, they had the round in their back pocket, yet it's Illuminar that pull the art of deception right over their eyes. It's 13-12, it's Illuminar that take the lead again. And straight off the back of it, they call a tactical timeout, probably to get in the heads of Fantasy a little bit. How do you lose a 2v4? Well, that play right there is probably the main reason. Tudson, if he doesn't jump, that AWP kill is certainly his.
That's so unfortunate. So unfortunate. One mistake provides to be so costly. And, do you know, I mean, these are another one of the scenarios where I always say, do you need jump on mouse wheel? Like, those mistakes don't happen for spacebar jumpers. I know Trav has a thread on Twitter of kind of a lot of mistakes made off the back of mouse wheel jumps. And I mean, it's
Get him in here.
extensive. It's
Trav,
extensive. Yeah, I
mate,
want to tell him.
Watch that round back, son, because that... Imagine if they lose the map off of the back of that as well. Because, look, they've got no money in this round, right? Which means they've invested everything they can. They've gone for every opportunity. Just down to this. MP9 on Bro. Util at the maximum. Illuminar, if they win this round, they wipe the slate clean for Fantasy. Flashbang, aykeN, aggressive. AWP, only for one. EXUS trades, but he knows that Topa's in pit. And if he can keep him locked in, then this is a very free kill that Illuminar can pick up on in due course.
Yeah, and Morales can post up over towards long as well. Hold for the rotation. Topa's trying to get support coming in. It's a healthy nade on towards EXUS and Reeds. And Topa falls through the smoke. That's unfortunate, but it's great play by Reeds because it gives space for Illuminar towards long and the man advantage too.
.4v3 in favour of Illuminar once again. Things get scary. Relax. Aggressive in middle. Now I like this. You have to get inventive in the man down scenarios. It's Tudson that holds his hand. You can go up now. You're a big boy. You can do it all on your own. Illuminar. Position towards B. Tudson, that's why he let him go. Because he wants a flank of his own towards B. But the smoke. Oh, Relax has the read. But they're going to call for an A play. Guys, it's a smoke on long. Bro, his guard let down a little bit. Toa walks into the guillotine of the MP9. But it's EXUS to respond. A 2 versus 2. Time can be set up to try and put some punctuation in on this retake. Fantasy, one from behind, one from up front. Morels doesn't see it coming from Tudson, but an EXUS clutch required. But what better man to have in this scenario than EXUS himself finding the first. Relax coming from the heavens. EXUS can't hit the second, and Relax keeps his cool. He is indeed relaxed. It's 13-13.
The closest, the finest of margins again. Keep them in this game, and that is so close for comfort. You got to feel for Illuminar as well. They actually played that pretty well. The idea is what to rotate back over towards B, because Tower had held lower tunnels the entire round, and timing gets the better of them. The flank coming through, if it came through, you know, a second, 2 seconds earlier, it's a free kill into the lower tunnel player, Tudson, and the man advantage doubled down, but no, not the case. Started well for Illuminar, unfortunately, not the ending that they were looking for. This game tied all square. We could potentially seeing ourselves in towards the big letters of OT right now, because these two are inseparable.
It's back and forth. What better way to end better way to set up this first map of a best of 3. You can see how much it means to both teams. Really are starting to make everything work, pulling out all the stops. If I'm honest, for teams that are probably slept on in this RMR now, we've been given one hell of a matchup here. Sure, maybe not your phases, not your Na'Vis, your G2s, your Ences. You know, we're on the other side of the spectrum when it comes to name value. For game's sake, though, this has been one of the most entertaining games I think we've watched this RMR so far. Excluding overtime games that FaZe have pulled out, this has been a brilliant watch.
I mean, these two are, you know, perfectly in sync in terms of the level that they're at. I mean, this is what makes this game so good. I think as well, we saw the 1x bet odds coming in towards this as well, and they were so even, and I personally didn't believe it. I was like, no, I mean, this should be Illuminar comfortably all day. A team versus a mix should only go one way, but it's not being the case. What a performance. What a call as well. Gap in the smoke. Relax, that's comfortable for one. Will they clear him? He is cleared, in fact. It's a 1-for-1, but Bro with the MP9 making his damage known as Tudson steps up for one as well. That's the bomb dropped and potentially the round in jeopardy. And it's down to one man and Mars gets deleted. Fantasy regain the lead. Ever slim, but a lead all the same.
And that is the first time they got the lead since the pistol nail. They went 1-0 up and then lost it. Absolutely bottled it on their T side.
Yeah.
And a massive recovery. Their mission started at the half-time whistle. They had the talk, maybe, you know, got the oranges out, sat down, motivational speech dropped in. Guys, we really need to start winning rounds. We've got the CT side. This is our map pick. We can't afford to be second best. It seems to be those words have hit home. They're in front. Took them a while, but they're there. And a force buy from Illuminar means this whole map is in limbo, and it all lies in number 28.
Yeah, this entire map is so reliant on Illuminar finding success here if they want to keep it alive.
Brilliant.
And Tudson and Bro combine a piece.
2v4, mate. Topa and EXUS. Everything to do between them. Guns can be picked up. Deagle, oh, missed shots from EXUS. How does he fluff that one up? And it's all down to the one and only. 1v4, bomb in his pocket. aykeN flanking with the big green. Rilax is here to help support. And even if this Tech9 finds the first, I'm sure the trade would have happened. aykeN doesn't allow it to happen anyway. Map point fantasy, 11-4 down, but they find themselves one away from taking their map pick.
Was it 12%? Was that how their chances of getting turned up? 12%.
Statistically.
One of the 12%. I mean, what a performance we've seen for Fantasy. On this CT side, a completely different beast in comparison to what we saw towards their first half. Their T side was abysmal. I mean, they struggled to see any real positives from Fantasy. It was the odd round here and there, a pistol as well. So, you know, for Fantasy, it was tough to watch, but this has been a stellar CT performance. A force coming once again for Illuminar. They're out towards long, but they walk straight towards Topa. Relax, only good for one. This is much better from Illuminar. They take the man advantage.
Spam through the smoke, Morels. Oh, wow, he's close. A second time from aykeN's AWP brings things back levels 3v3. And Illuminar, it's a player desperation, but the AWP is claiming souls. aykeN's second in the round might just be enough. Tudson and Bro, but now it's just Tudson. A clutch, a chance, an opportunity for Illuminar, but they've given him a 1v1. And now he gets the first, the bomb in his eyesight. Mar's going to move forward. I don't like this from Tudson, I'm not going to lie. I'm asked if he's able to just move forward, picks up the bomb, and now Tudson, he has to run all the way back to try and get the bomb carrier removed. And of course, he's legging it to try and take him down, but Tudson does it anyway. And it's 16-13. It is a long brawl on Dust2, but an entertaining one at that. And it is indeed Fantasy that take map 1 from 11-4 down. They keep composed, and they come out on top in their map pick. A brilliant display of performance. And this will only give them that motivational boost heading into map 2. It's Illuminar's second best despite everything falling in their favour. They can't get it done. And now it's a reverse sweep required for Illuminar.